Okay, I think we are live. It's always hard to tell when you go from Zoom to Facebook, which is what I'm doing right now. Elle Ingalls here, pressure-free.com. Coming in a little later than I said I was going to. Apologize for that. We had a late dinner. My son was coming back from a trip, and we pushed off dinner. So I'm going to mention that for a moment because a lot of times we can get triggered by time and when things were supposed to be a certain time and now they're getting switched. I've watched that happen with people on vacation. Like they don't seem to be able to get into vacation time. I got my Pentwater sweatshirt on here for years. I've been coaching retreats at Pentwater. It's where my husband grew up. It's a very beautiful, idyllic little town on Lake Michigan. And so I'd be sitting at the beach and I'd just hear like arguments of families on the beach. And it usually revolved around time. Like it's time to go back to the house from the beach, or it's time for dinner. Um, and people getting really upset about it. And I just want to kind of say, take a chill pill, right? You're on vacation. Of course, there was the time, by the way, like Michigan, where we are in West Michigan, we're right on the edge of the time zone between Eastern and Central. And once we were at Pentwater and I had booked a reservation, we would let our kids bring friends on vacation, so we had just a ton of people. And I booked a reservation. And I'm out at the beach, we're out at the beach, and I look at my time and I'm like, oh, we still have plenty of time. Like my phone had flipped to Central Time. So we were an hour late to the reservation, which was pretty funny. They accommodated us, which was very nice. But this idea of not being so hemmed in, that we are a little more flexible, that I think is really, really important. When our family became very entrepreneurial, my sons own their own business, I own my own business, my husband's a consultant, like we really moved into flexibility. So we'll be celebrating Father's Day tomorrow night because one of our sons is going back to Cambridge. Actually, he's going to run an ultra in Niagara Falls first and then go back to Cambridge. And other people are busy. And so we just made that the night, celebrating a Father's Day for my son for the first time. So we're going to have a really great time. And so that flexibility, I think, is beautiful. But tonight, the topic that I have for you that I said earlier in the day, I would share with you is the idea of being open to possibility. So I have a lot of colleagues who are coaches, business coaches, life coaches, health coaches, athletic coaches. And for most of us who are in that field or educators, anyone who's trying to take somebody from here to here, maybe even within a particular company, like you're in learning development or managing someone and you're bringing them up, you're getting ready to promote them. Um, Here's the person and here's where they are. Here's where their skill level is. This is where they are, and this is where they want to be. It can seem like an enormous leap. For the work that I do, the leap might be emotional, like I just want to be more composed in situations. I don't want to be so frantic. I want to have more energy. I want to have more life force going through me. I want to enjoy life again, or I want to get this promotion. They have something they're after, and it can sometimes feel kind of impossible. So one of the things that I do with my clients is I really work to open up possibility for them, even with things that seem rather impossible. And I've thought about it for myself. Like there were so many things in my life that other people would say, oh, that's impossible, or you can't do that. Um, like breaking in and becoming the first woman in orchestral conducting at the University of Michigan. I have people saying they're never going to let you in. They've never let a woman in before. Like, why would they let you, right? When there's all these candidates from all over the world who want a spot. Um, and so some people just thought, oh, that's like impossible. But there were some people who had full belief in me because I had full belief in myself. So full belief is something that I talk about with my clients, and then open to possibility. So one of the tools that I created just in the last couple of years, I call it SWIM, which means switch internal mindset. And I've added that into the first session of my coaching, because it's for all of the things that we start to feel are really impossible for us. This is how swim works. You start with your hands together, and whatever that impossible thing is or that negative thing is, like, oh, I'm terrible at math. We'll just use that as an example. You're thinking something and it's not helpful to you. It's actually a belief that's very disempowering. You put your hands together, say, well, in the past, I was terrible at math, but I'm now open to the possibility. And you do this weird swim motion, which is not a real stroke on purpose. You're going to go this way if you're doing something real, but it's hands together on purpose. We need to do an unusual motion, which can open up neural pathways quickly so that you can change up a habit quickly. In this case, we're switching up a habit of a negative belief, a belief that doesn't serve us for what we want to do. So I'm open to the possibility that I'm really great at math, that I can do math easily. So let's say you have a work project that's really kind of got you stymied. You're feeling a lot of writer's block or just difficulty trying to get to the solution. So you can put your hands together and say, in the past, I thought this project was really difficult. I'm now open to the possibility that I easily complete this project. So using adverbs like easily, elegantly, happily, any kind of word that's descriptive of how you want the thing to be and getting very specific. Those are two things that the subconscious mind loves, specifics and descriptive words, like getting very clear. And it also loves repetition. And when you do this opening like this and open up new neural pathways, you're literally creating a new path in your brain to think very differently about the thing that had you stuck. So I was teaching this to a client the other day, and she was just seeing the benefit right away. It was just like, oh, okay. So open to the possibility. Whenever you hear people starting to complain, whenever you hear superlatives like, I never could be able to, or I always screw up on this, or never, always, superlatives like that, that's a clue that there's some sort of negative mindset working on us. Um, we can break those and we can break them quite easily, but being open to possibility is one of the first things. And then my husband reminded me of a tool this morning that I don't really bring it forward very often. I really should. But I call it the silver rope of hope. Again, hope is this operative word because sometimes it feels like nobody's in your court. Like no one supports you. Maybe your family doesn't get what you're trying to do in life and you feel so unsupported there. Maybe your friends don't understand what's important to you. Here's something that I noted. When my kids were starting their business, they were 22 and 20, my two oldest sons. And they started their business and they made a post on Facebook or LinkedIn or something. And they got a few likes. One of their classmates got a new job at Kellogg, and there were like hundreds of likes. And, not that my kids really cared about that at all. They hardly do any social media, but it was clear that people give less attention to those who are entrepreneurial and working for themselves. And in my CEO book, which I have right here, bring it over for you. So this book right here, I'm going to read the subtitle. So it's The Pressure-Free CEO: How the Stress Response Contributes to the Untimely Deaths. I actually put that in the subtitle. Untimely Deaths of Leaders, and How You Can Gain Control to be More Productive, Mentally Clear, and Physically Healthy. In the beginning of the book, I talk about people that we've lost to heart disease, cancer, and suicide. And what really kind of crushed me when I was doing my research is how many young entrepreneurs we've lost to suicide. So young entrepreneurs, it can just be so incredibly stressful to start their businesses. But what I see also is that they have very little support. They might not have support from their families. Their friends might be jealous or not understand, so they don't get much support there, which is why I think it was Verne Harnish with Scaling Up. I think it was Verne. Or was it Gino Wickman? One of the two of them started their businesses in helping entrepreneurs because their father just went into a huge depression when his business failed. So sometimes as entrepreneurs, we build things and they fail. I've built courses that didn't sell even a penny. And so sometimes, we work really, really hard on something and it just doesn't, for whatever reason, resonate with a buying public. Um, so Silver Rope of Hope really comes into play for anyone who's trying to change or make something better of their life. They need to know someone is in their court. I had a young client once, text me a big win. And, I'd worked with this person a couple of years before and they texted me a big win and I was, I texted back and they wrote back to me, you're the one person in my court that I knew would cheer me on. My friend Leela and I, she's a business coach and body coach, were like we were cheerleaders in high school. I was only one for 1 year. She was like all in for several years. I was a hockey cheerleader. I was a junior high cheerleader too, so ninth and 10th grade. Um, but one thing I loved about doing that was like I am a serious cheerleader. I care so much about my clients and I am just like silently cheering for them all the time. So that's kind of that silver rope of hope. It's also, the way that I help open up possibility because I can see it. I can see what's possible because I've seen the impossible happen for my clients, things they never thought could happen. I remember a client I had in a corporate situation identify the fact that there wasn't a position that could actually solve some real issues for the company. So while she was working with me, she designed a position, took it to her direct report and or her boss and the boss above her, had a meeting and shared the whole idea and how much she wanted to get paid for it and everything. And they made the position. Now that takes courage. Courage is one of the pressure-free C words. The C words are calm, confident, courageous, um, committed, congruent. Inside and outside is matching, and you don't have to fake it to make it. Like you genuinely feel optimal. Not exactly happy, especially if you're doing serious work. You feel in the zone optimal when you stop releasing stress hormones. So she created her own position, stepped right into it, and now she speaks and everything. I see what she's up to. It's just fantastic. So, Silver Rope of Hope, somebody's in your court. If right now you're watching this and you're like, I don't even know who's in my court, I'm so here for you. I am so here for you because it can really feel that way sometimes, especially if you're the business owner or you're at the top of your game. Um, I was watching an incredible football player talk today. Actually, was in my small networking group. There's just a few of us on the call with him, and um, he was just so raw and real. It was Ryan Leaf talking about his past. And my kids actually met Ryan in 1999 when he came to Battle Creek, Michigan. We took our kids, they didn't go to school that morning. We went right downtown so that they could meet Ryan Leaf in 1999. So to hear his story, his comeback story, what he's trying to create now, it's just amazing. Um, but what it struck me that when you're at the top of the game, it can be so easy to feel like no one really supports you. No one really gets what's going on with you. Um, so that's what I have for you tonight. I hope it's helpful. If you do this little swim tool, it can be really powerful in starting to help you break some of those habits about the way you talk about yourself, which can be just so disheartening and unhelpful. So wish you a beautiful pressure-free night. If you're coming on live here, whenever you're watching this, thank you so much. And if you're watching this on my website or LinkedIn or Facebook Live, Facebook, I really appreciate you watching. I know you might want to not want to like it and support it, but you can always grab the link and send this to someone privately if you think that they could find this helpful to them. And if you want to have a conversation, just go right to my site, lingalls.com. I wish you a great pressure-free day. Bye.